Guys, welcome back to the Prepare to Fight Fire podcast. Today, I'm talking everything fitness, all right? And I want to really bring you guys value from the standpoint of where to start, how to build different aspects of your fitness, and how to really be the most functionally fit firefighter on the fire ground, okay? So, kind of an origin story of where I started, how far I've progressed, what I've learned along the way, what works, what doesn't work, what's a myth, what's not a myth. We're going to talk about all those different topics, all right? And we're going to start off simply with this. We are industrial athletes, all right? I have experience with solely being a firefighter. That's been my entire life, all right? Since I was 18, I've been immersed in this specific career. So when I speak about this topic, I have real world experience over a decade of it. Anything else outside of it, I am very novice, all right? I'm not very comfortable in any other arena due to the fact that I've poured my entire life into this, especially being physically fit and being the type of person that takes pride in being the best firefighter that I can be. So let's drop it out. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you really need to focus on. So we're going to start from the top of starting. All right, so the beginning. So starting to be a firefighter and then taking it on out to one day wanting to become a smoke diver or just be a functionally fit firefighter for your entire career. So where to start? All right, so when you come into this career field, you have to understand this. As a firefighter, you're going to be posed with really 4 to 5 different obstacles that no other profession is. The first obstacle is going to be bunker gear. All right, so bunker gear is going to limit your range of motion. All right, bunker gear is going to inhibit your ability to cool off. Right, so the way the body cools off when it gets hot is it sweats. The problem is when you're wearing turnout gear, bunker gear, that system is inhibited because you're wearing a thermal barrier that's on the inside of your coat. All right, so the bunker gear is the first challenge. The second challenge, we operate in a hot environment. All right, so what that means is that when we go into a fire, our heart rate and our breathing is already going to be exponentially faster than just doing anything outside because it's hot. All right, and when it's hot, the body, to compensate, increases its heart rate, increases its respirations. The third thing is going to be we are always constantly under load. All right, as soon as you get into gear, you're wearing extra weight. You're under load. Now you jump off the truck, we're carrying tools always. You jump off the truck, you're stretching a hose line. You jump off the truck, you're carrying, you're getting specific equipment, ladders, forcible entry tools, etc., fans, like so many things that are extra weight. All right. So that's the third thing is we're always under load. The fourth thing is inside of good working fires, we're going to always operate in a lower transverse plane. What that means is that you basically are going to be either bear crawling or in the lunge position. That's going to really remove our strength base of both legs. All right. When it's really hot inside of a fire, no matter what your training has been to this day, you are not going to be able to be walking around aimlessly in that fire. You're going to have to stay low. And there's a mix of opinions of, oh man, if you have to stay that low, you shouldn't be in there. I would have to disagree. We have gear that allows us to go into very hot fires to potentially make a rescue of a human being that is in a low plane, right? We're talking about, the floor to 6 to 12 inches where the environment is sustainable for life. All right. So our gear allows us to go through really bad conditions to make a rescue. And we need to be prepared for that heat, understanding what our capabilities are in that low transverse plane. And then understanding too, all of the jobs that we perform, whether it's stretching a hose line, removing a victim, firefighter, rescue, in that environment and in that transverse plane is extremely difficult. All right. And then, so that was the fourth thing. The fifth thing, all right, and this is the last thing, is we are prone to be on emergency scenes for a very long time. It's not one of those jobs where we can call for backup. Like obviously, when a scene gets to the point where it's going to need more resources, you'll have more people coming. But it just depends on where you are in this country, what department you work for, what staffing looks like. You may be on a call working for a prolonged period of time. So having that endurance in this field specifically is a necessary element that we have to have. On top of that, it's not really the one call that takes a long period of time. It's what happens throughout an entire shift of the repetitive, workload that we have to be put through. So I say all of that and I premise that with we have to be fit. You have to be physically fit in this profession. If you're not, you're predisposed to injury, getting somebody else hurt, and not completing the job or the task at hand. So where do we start? All right, there's an array of things with fitness. It's a lot, trust me, especially with the internet nowadays. So every firefighter needs three main things: stamina, strength, endurance. All right, you have to build a stamina and endurance base. All right, that is so important. And here's why: most men are just naturally strong. Okay, we have enough strength to do the basic fundamental things. What we really lack is that stamina and endurance. And we need that because everything we do is under load, like I talked about earlier. So our body, just jumping off the truck, is working harder. So our heart rate's going to be higher, our respirations are going to be higher. And if we don't have that level of stamina and endurance from a conditioning standpoint, our bodies will only be able to do that for so long until they tap out. Okay. So I don't want to neglect strength. That is important too. It's a pyramid and you need all three: stamina, strength, and endurance. Okay. Now, when we talk about stamina, let's look at that as like the car motor. What size of the motor is going to be more of the endurance. Okay. And then when we talk about endurance, we break that down into cardiovascular endurance and then muscular endurance. Those are the two things: how long your muscles can last and how long you can recover and do more work throughout a period of time. And then stamina is going to be and strength is going to be your power. Okay. How much power do you have as a human being? Upper body strength, lower body strength, you can break it down into those areas. So where do we start? You need to be physically fit. So when we talk about being physically fit as a firefighter, you have to be comfortable with your body weight. All right. This is fundamental. Push-ups, sit-ups, burpees, lunges, up downs, jumping jacks, running, rowing, doing stairs. This stuff costs no money and it does not take any type of equipment. All right. If you think that you're going to go into a gym, do barbell curls, barbell bench press, and then show up to the fire academy, you are going to be severely, severely ill prepared. And it's going to show. There's two types of people in the academy: those that survive, hold on, and hold people back. And then those that really strive, learn how to be a firefighter, help other people, and are really, really, really fit. Okay. So this job is not fun if you're not fit. I'm telling you right now, it is already hard enough for the individuals that are fit. So when you're not fit, it is not a good time. I promise you that. So like I said, where do you start? We have to become physically fit. So you have to start incorporating throughout a week to week basis these movements. Okay. And you can split it up: upper body, lower body. All right. So we're talking upper body, up downs, burpees, push-ups; lower body, lunges, squats. And then with those, lower body movements, I would throw in some core exercises: mountain climbers, flutter kicks, sit-ups. Okay. With that, you should start doing HIIT workouts. So what that looks like is you set up, 3 to 5 rounds of a 1 to 2 minute run. And then you do 10 to 30 reps, whatever your fitness level calls for, of each movement. And then you break that into 4 to 5 rounds. All right. That's a simple way of doing that 3 to 4 times a week to get your fitness where it needs to be. Now, when do we start amping things up, developing things? Well, first of all, we need to have a couple barriers. All right. One key barrier is going to be where your fitness level is. So you need a baseline. All right. One thing that we do here at Prepare to Fight Fire is run everybody through a baseline test to actually see where your fitness level is at the moment. All right. And what that looks like is a 2-minute, we mirror it from the military. Okay. So the military does a baseline PT test and you do it multiple times a year to maintain a high fitness level and to get more physically fit. So here we kind of do the same thing, except it's more geared toward firefighters. So what we do is 2 minutes of push-ups, 2-minute break, 2 minutes of sit-ups, 2-minute break, 2 minutes of burpees, 2-minute break, and then 1 mile run. Okay. Now, the numbers for this test will dictate where you are exactly. All right. If you're not putting up 30 plus reps on each of these movements, we've got work to do. If you're not running a mile under 10 minutes, we've got work to do. And that's fine, guys. Don't get discouraged. Like, stay on the path. That's the baseline. From there, we need to come up with a program and implement getting physically fit, utilizing body weight. I see too many people that want to do all of these extracurricular things: CrossFit, using gear. You haven't even been to training and you're putting on bunker gear, utilizing a weight vest way too heavy, right? 40 to 50 pounds because they want to simulate the CPAP. Like, no, guys, you need to start and build the foundation. The foundation of fitness starts at mastering your body weight, okay? And getting really, really good at the fundamental movements. From there, absolutely, we need to incorporate a weight vest. When we talk about utilizing a weight vest, understand this: 20 to 25 pounds is what you should be using to train consistently. Anything more than that is going to risk yourself to getting injured, and it's not worth it. It's just not worth the risk. And to be honest with you, 20 to 25 pounds is all you need to truly improve that fitness. Now, it's not to say that once a week you can't put on extra weight and utilize that 40 to 50 pound weight vest, but it's got a lot of weight, and it will, make you prone to getting injured. Now, when we move on from there, and we have developed our fundamental baseline level of fitness, we need to get into the gym. All right. And when we get into the gym, we need to focus on functional training. What I mean by functional training is lifting weights from a rep range that is going to improve strength and doing the exercises that are going to relate to the fireground. All right. These exercises, I'm going to break it down real simply from a three-part, upper body, lower body, core. All right. So upper body. Okay. Shoulder press, very important. Pull-ups, very important. All right. Rows, very important. From a standpoint of a chest is important, but from a functional fitness standpoint, I would focus on, the incline dumbbell press, and that's what I would focus on for the chest. Lower body, all right, barbell back squats, lunges, and then your deadlift. Those are the three fundamental movements that you need to be good at. Now, for a core standpoint, all right, you're going to do leg lifts. You're going to do the basic fundamentals of sit-ups, mountain climbers, flutter kicks. Those are all really, really good. And then from the standpoint of hanging leg raises, those are really, really good. So that's kind of a clear outline. Now the rep range, okay? If you're new to the gym, you need to develop that baseline level of fitness. So what we're looking for is getting some strength, all right? We're looking at 4 sets of 5 reps, all right? Each set, you should be upping the weight. That's how we're going to progressively overload and then build that strength that we need. Once we've been doing that for a couple months, we would start to include some hypertrophy training, 10 to 12 reps, 10 to 15 reps. But to start, we want to build that strength foundation. All right. So we're going to keep the rep range between 5 to 8 reps. So that's kind of where we're at, guys, with building your fitness level. All right. It takes time. It takes patience. You're not going to come into a gym and look at a guy that aesthetically is really, really on par of looking physically fit and is physically fit and think it's going to happen in a couple months. All right. Years. It takes years to build that fitness. But you have to start, all right? The mantra has always been the same, day one or one day. And we have to sustain a healthy approach to this type of training, because if you get injured trying to, increase the pace of the process to get fitter a lot faster, it's not going to work out. All right. So that's kind of the entry level of fitness. All right. Kind of vague, but brought you some value there. We're going to jump from there to being an on-duty firefighter. And what does fitness look like at that point? All right, you've made it. You've gotten through probation. You got through recruit class. And now you're just an everyday firefighter. All right, what does that look like? Like, what is your standard of fitness? Well, your standard of fitness is being the most physically fit firefighter that you can be and serving the citizens that you serve and the people that you work with at the highest level. So does that mean that you're, a high level CrossFit athlete? No. Does that mean that you're a bodybuilding champion? No. Does that mean that you run marathons, ultra marathons? No, not at all. But what that does mean, guys, is that you have to be fit, all right? And you have to have the same things, the same high level of stamina, strength, and endurance. So from a programming standpoint, where does that leave you? For me, guys, I recommend everybody get on some type of program. If you've never truly learned how to train, this is where you find a coach, find somebody that knows what they're doing, that can teach you how to create a training program that is sustainable for the rest of your career, so that you're pouring your energy into the 3 areas kind of equally and having an approach that you're not neglecting one or the other, right? I see it all the time. Guys that are on the line, they're either super strong or their cardio super, super high and they're missing strength. Right? We have to be well-rounded athletes. And from a sustainability standpoint, you want to be healthy and fit for your career, not a 5 to 10 year window. All right. That's the worst thing we can do. So if you don't know where to start, right, find somebody that does, that can create a program for you and that can teach you how to train to be a physically fit firefighter, not for a couple months, but for the rest of your career. Now, what does that look like for different people? It depends on your level of fitness, all right? If your fitness level is really, really good, then we're going to challenge you and put you in a challenging programming, state. If you have a baseline level of fitness, we're going to build from there, and we're going to really teach you the fundamentals of training from each standpoint of strength, stamina, endurance. But it's necessary, guys. Once you learn how to train and you start training 3 to 5 times a week consistently, your career, longevity-wise, health-wise, and from a performance standpoint, is going to be a lot higher. All right. So we're going to jump from there to the person that wants to take one of these classes that are going to really challenge themselves. All right. There's a bunch of classes out there. You've got the smoke diver programs all across our country. You've got, flames. You've got one bad tour. You've got a bunch of these programs that are going to really challenge you mentally, physically, emotionally. So I get asked all the time, man, where do I start? Right. So first of all, we can't skip steps here, right? Crawl, walk, run. So the crawl, where is your fitness right now? Baseline testing. Let's get a baseline test. What does that look like? Are we that firefighter that has aspirations of becoming this one day, but we got to work to it, right? We can't jump the alphabet A to Z. We got to get, from one letter to the next. That's fine, guys. You need to build up to that. All right. So understand this. These type of classes are going to expect performance under duress. All right. So you're going to perform under fatigue, being exhausted, and then performing a simple task. All right. It's nothing revolutionary. Performing a task under, heat, right? The conditions. So when we show up to these programs, we have to be the most physically fit that we could possibly be, and not just out of gear, but in bunker gear. And the number one problem I see that people face is that they jump straight to the gear. Guys, if you're not physically fit out of gear, you're not going to just magically get physically fit in gear because you're doing gear workouts. That's not how it works. The human body needs to be fit outside of gear, and then we get into that gear, and now we improve what the gear challenges that present to us. What are those? What does that look like? First of all, gear acclimation, okay? Getting used to being in the gear, wearing the gear, obviously the weight that slows us down. The second thing is air consumption, all right? Understanding what your capacity looks like under working a bottle of air. And then the third thing is building that endurance of the workload, being able to work in gear for a long period of time, and under fatigue, still be able to manage and complete objectives. Now, with all of that being said, it is a crawl, walk, run. For a lot of people, it is a process, guys. And that's the whole point of these classes, is it's a journey. All right. And I know it sounds corny, weird, whatever. But listen, the purpose is not to accomplish this class, right? That's the goal. But the purpose is to become a better firefighter along the way, become a better person, become a better, more physically fit human. That's the purpose. That's the point. Now, the point of that is understanding that you may come up short. You may show up to this program, not prepared. You may show up and things not go your way, or things happen and you fail. And that's okay. You have to ask yourself this: am I a better firefighter today than when I started? The answer, if you embark on this journey, will always be yes. And that's the point. Now, kind of wrapping this whole thing up, and I want to kind of clear this up in the air. When you do graduate any type of these programs, where does that leave you, right? Is that the pinnacle? Guys, in this career, in life, there's no pinnacle. There's no finish line. There's always something that you can work on to become better at. And these skills are perishable. All right, I talked to a buddy of mine, Sam Jacobs, great guy. And we have good conversations on the perishable skills that firefighters have. All right, obviously you have your physical skill sets of stretching hose lines, performing primary searches, truck company operations, engine company operations, survival, RIT. All of that stuff is, a perishable skill if you're not on top of it. Aerial operations, special operations, all of these things that we do as firefighters. But the next thing that we have to really talk about is the mental skill set, right? And if you're not putting yourself in situations that are challenging, that are hard, and you do hard things, and then you just kind of stop doing that, you will be prone to failure. You will be prone to your mental muscle quitting, because it forgets what it's like to be under stress, be, in the arena. So for those people that accomplish these things, that's amazing. First of all, you're not truly successful unless you help other people become better because of these accomplishments. And second of all, our life is broken down, and we really are an accomplished individual, not by the one thing that we did, but by the list of things that we did. When we look back, it's not the one class that we took, right? It's all of the things that build up. It's the culmination of accomplishments that makes one super proud, fulfilled, and successful. So guys, I hope I brought you guys value. You know that we offer coaching here at Prepare to Fight Fire, whether you're coming into the job, you're on the line, you want to be a smoke diver. It is for the committed individual. We have programming that is top notch, and that you will get an extreme amount of knowledge, results, and it will pay off. But you got to be committed. You got to be ready. If that's something that you want to look into, just shoot me a message, PTFF on Instagram. And then if this podcast brought you value, please share with anybody. We're here, to just bring you guys all the information that you need to be the best physically fit firefighters that you can be. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.